right, Dave Jenkins with Iterate AI. We are a 8-year-old company. We named the company Iterate because you never get it right the first time. We know that. That's fine. You're going to do something. You're going to find out what's right, what's wrong. You're going to change. You're going to iterate. You're going to keep going. The most important factor is speed. Speed to market, speed to development, speed to improve what you're trying to offer to the market. We named the company Iterate AI because even 7, 8 years ago, wait a minute, AI, this is going to change everything. And sure enough, as we're seeing now, it does. So what I wanted to today I wanted to talk about Gen AI, and essentially, that's a lot of homework. I'm not going to walk through that whole thing, and I don't know what happened to the central font there, but that's okay. AI does a lot of different things. That stuff on the left, that's how Netflix knows what movie you want to see next. Specifically within this neural net and deep learning, this is where generative models or Gen AI lives. And then within Gen AI, there's been a real Cambrian explosion in the last year. There's a lot of startups doing a lot of things, some very cool things, some kind of repetitive, some kind of very one-off. Great, because a lot of people will just buy a point solution for $10 a month and they're good to go. Cool. This is a word cloud, essentially AI. Does anybody know how ChatGPT works? No? Yes? No? There you go. All right. Essentially, these ChatGPTs are these AI models, these Gen AI models, they work on what's called a vector database. And so what's happening is you assign a number to every word, and then you're going through and you're deciding the closest word next to the other words. And so you're just picking the most optimal vector through this multi-dimensional space, if you will. So in other words, the classic example is if I'm talking about banks, and I'm talking about checking accounts and savings account, it knows, oh, bank is in financial bank. If, however, the other words are fishing pole and river and whatever, oh, a river bank, right? The AI knows that because it's assigned, even though the word's the same, it says, well, wait, bank finance equals this number and bank river equals this number. And so it just finds the most optimal path through there. That's the 30-second explanation. All right, so 10 real-world use cases. First things first, AI and Gen AI are being used throughout the retail chain. It is everywhere. There are thousands of successful use cases. Here are some cases where my crew has got direct knowledge of what's going on and what's happening. So again, we could be here all night showing you cool things in AI, and I'm sure if you're on LinkedIn at all, it won't shut up about it. Cool. I want to talk about some real use cases and what to kind of watch out for in these different deployments throughout the retail chain. So AI is throughout the entire product life cycle. It starts with product development, through the supply chain, through warehousing, through merchandising, all the way through marketing, retail, and the support. You're already using AI whether you know it or not, or your vendors are, or your supply chain is, or your product developers are. And again, I think as Melissa and some others said this morning, AI does great in the back of the house. AI does great in the invisible, hardworking, there's just so much data and this is just really repetitive. Can't we get an AI to do this? Yes, we can, and that's where the most successful AIs are happening now. For example, Shein, the Chinese fast fashion retailer, Shein is using this and they have halved the product life cycle compared to their competitors. In other words, they're twice as fast. The marketing, the generative AI, as Melissa showed, that's what's getting all the media attention because that's what, frankly, is the easiest to use and is the most interactive with customers and with marketers and things like that. AI can totally track who's in what Starbucks and how many cups of coffee they're drinking and who's doing the most and all that. The problem is not the problem. Ethics slows that down in a good way, right? So, AI could absolutely track all of us 24/7, but it doesn't because we don't want it to, but it totally could technologically wise. So, first case first. Back to that Shein model. Shein is using images and text, and what they're doing is they're trend tracking, and they're tracking thousands of influencers, and as soon as the influencers turn off on a given product, they go, no, not cool anymore. Shein shuts it down. In fact, Shein has AI models that know that curve. They can see the curve coming. So they shut that product down weeks before a traditional retailer would know because they've got a full cycle. Here, again, if you look at the blue, this would be kind of a traditional fashion product life cycle. Shein just has the red triangle. They go from prototyping to marketing to these influencers. They track the influencers, and then it goes right back to prototyping. They have shortcut the production cycle there. Case two, the supply chain. OCR shipping verifications. This is a project we're doing in Singapore and some other ports in East Asia where these bills of lading or these shipping documents and all that, these are very complex, and you need to essentially optically character recognize all this documentation, and you need to route it to the right person inside the large organization. You also need to know if that stamp is fraudulent or not, which an AI can do. We've been training it enough so we now know that if the tax stamp is counterfeit or not, because an AI can just sit there and look at these all day long, and so it knows the fakes from the reals. Here to watch out for, you want consistent data. You want data privacy, obviously, so you may want to bring this AI in-house, which is what these banks and these insurance companies are doing with us. And then you want to watch out for how do we set up the routing? In other words, what results go to whom in our organization? Warehousing. We all know Amazon. Amazon took what is normally a huge cost center in the warehousing. They turned it into a revenue center. The reason they did that is they automated everything. There are robots all throughout there. The pick and pack is automated. The route optimization is automated. Even the trucks, the route is optimized according to AI on a daily basis, depending on weather, depending on personalities, depending on any factor they can get at. In other words, Amazon is an octopus. Every data point they can get their hands on, they will feed back into that AI and optimize it. That is now Amazon shipping now makes them millions of dollars a year. Congratulations. The things to watch out for this, and we've done some other warehouse projects, are if the robots have to talk all the way back to the AI in the cloud and back again, it's too long of a time. It takes 2 or 3 seconds. It doesn't work. So the AI has to be housed locally at the warehouse. That way the response is in milliseconds, and that way the robots can work. Because if you think about it, if a robot has to take 3 seconds, every decision to reach the end of an aisle, turn left, turn right, go up, down, I don't know. No, it doesn't work. It has to be milliseconds. So your AI should be housed locally at the warehouse. Merchandising. Your planograms, if you think about it, in the cereal aisle, HEB in Texas, it goes from super sugar on the other side to tree bark on this side, and it just goes down, and then it's price point this way. Very linear. Very cool, that kind of works, I guess, but we all know that in fashion and in other retail, it's very squishy. It's very kind of, it's an art. Planogram, planning, merchandising is an art. The thing is, just like Midjourney, like what Melissa showed us this morning, if you give an AI enough images, it understands. It understands the patterns, it understands that art, if you will, just like we saw those renderings, by the way. By the way, this image is also rendered. In fact, every image except for 2 in my entire deck, they've all been rendered. These are not photos. So here, if you have good imagery and if you've got good planning on your on your planograms, if you take enough photos, the AI can start to suggest your optimal planogram based on either margin or sales throughput or price optimization, whatever you want to drive with that store. For example, here's one. In Circle K, we are tracking hot dogs. Because if by 11:30 a.m. there are not enough hot dogs on the rollers, people are going to be mad. So we actually prompt the store manager, hey brother, you better put more hot dogs on the rollers because it's, lunchtime is coming. That's one example we're doing right now. Kira Knightley. We can Gen AI copy in images. That is a rendered image. What we did is we took, let me go back. That's, I can't go back. All right, that's fine. What we can do is we can take an entire product catalog of, fashion goods, and then we can take a customer's images, as long as they've got 2 or 3 images, and we can essentially smush them together. And so therefore, every time online, every lifestyle image they've got is them in the clothes. And I just use Kira Knightley because why not, right? We can customize the text. And I think Melissa was also showing that this morning about the actual copy of every product. And this could be also in the stores, if you've got digital signage, could be customized for that person. This is kind of Minority Report, totally doable. We don't do it because we don't want to invade the customer's privacy, but it is totally doable. It is acceptable for some reason online more than it is in the store. Here again, here's what I was describing earlier. So we take the product catalog, we take pictures of the customer, we can smush them together. So these ones on the right here, those are rendered. right? Those are rendered using Stable Diffusion, which is it's like Midjourney. You can download it, you can customize it, you can run it privately inside your ERP. These are all rendered. There's Kira again. Here's a friend of ours, Augustina. There's one of our programmers, Shamran. That's a rendered image. We essentially took the entire Brooks Brothers catalog. And so now if you go to the Brooks Brothers and you go through and every jacket, you know, I can see myself in the jackets. That is supposed, I don't know why it didn't come through. That's not Chinese. This is a store in Shanghai, I think, and that is generated AI, and it's actually using suggestions and images from prompts from just normal customers saying, okay, put a pink tree and now put a butterfly and all that. And so this is just constantly scrolling with new imagery constantly, right? Which is a great way to both, one, exploit generated AI, and then two, great customer engagement. Because those same customers are coming in and TikToking themselves in front of the wall, right? Store management. Gen AI can do task assistant. So again, it can count customers in the store. It can tell the manager when there's a spill on the store. It can send a warning, wait a minute, there's too many people in this aisle. Something might be happening or something might not be happening. We don't know, right? It can count how many times people go to the bathroom, because as a general rule, Circle K has to clean the bathroom every 4 hours. Well, not after a game, because 10 people just went to the bathroom in the last 5 minutes. You better go in again because it's a probably complete disaster in there, right? So here again, this is done from existing security cameras. If you've got good, I would say 720p cameras that can do 30 frames a second, great. We can plug that into the AI system and we can start to do this kind of image counting, people analysis. And by the way, we don't look at faces. We totally could, but we don't, because we don't care. We want to, you know, privacy is more valuable than identifying specific customers. In restaurants, we can tell which tables are occupied, which ones are open, which ones are messy. Here again, we can see there's a spill on the floor. We need that one table needs some attention. We know where the guests are. We know where the staff is. License plate reading. We did a project, well, this is a drive-through for a pharmacy, or excuse me, a coffee shop. We know everybody's orders. We know them 4 or 5 cars deep. As soon as they approach, as soon as they get on the parking lot, we know who's come for what. So theoretically, you could start to queue up their coffees. You could start to queue up their prescriptions. You could start to queue up their burgers. Whatever is selling through the drive-through, imagine having the vision 3 or 4 or 5 cars deep. Here again, depends on the quality of the cameras, 720, a good angle, and ties to your existing ERP order management and customer management systems. And this all also depends on James and Stacy and Pauline having the app, right? Because we need their permission. They need to log in. They need to give us their license plate number and all that, which people will gladly do if it makes things faster and more convenient for them. We did this for Circle K, where you can now drive up to a Circle K. It reads your license plate. It says, "Hello, Dave. Is that you?" "Yes." "Premium." It pings my credit card. It dings that. It actually physically unlocks the gas pump, so no more credit card swiping, no more skimming. This is in place in 4,000 stores in Europe and Scandinavia. It's in Arizona, and I think it's coming here more now. So I don't know if everybody knows this, but gasoline's only 9% of the money at Circle K. All the money is in the Doritos and beer and smokes inside. So if people are captive there for 4 minutes, "Hey, Dave, we know you're addicted to Diet Coke and Doritos. Would you like us to bring some out?" "Oh, yes, please." Click. "You're welcome," right? Chatbots, we've all seen them. We all know how they work. Most chatbots are working on a very basic level. We are building some chatbots now for some insurance companies and banks, where it's doing 2 things. It's auto-parsing the inbound email, it's summarizing that, and then it's giving suggested responses for the customer support agent as they respond back, either on the phone or via email or via the chat there. So it could be fully automated or it could be augmented human AI, either one. It kind of depends on the bank and how they want to approach their customers, right? Quizbots, again, remember that Gen AI can also work for your own store associates, for their own product knowledge. The example I give are Tiffany rings expensive? If you ask ChatGPT, oh, hell yes, right? Tiffany store associates can't give that answer. They have to say, our princess cut is da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They've got a whole spiel, right? if you have an internal chat GPT, if you will, for Tiffany, a Tiffany GPT, we want to train it on Tiffany's own information, on Tiffany's product information, so these Tiffany store associates give the correct answer. This can be done through training. This could be done through interactive quizzes. In this case, we're doing it for Pampered Chef, where it's ongoing training, and these quizzes are each tailored for each individual. That's a way, it's a great insight. You can turn Gen AI internally to your own crew and just have them essentially use these tools to get more knowledge. Last case here, code development. I'm a nerd, so I develop code. Gen AI is extremely good at writing code. We've seen up to 15x and 17x faster code development. So please look at your IT teams. Are they using Gen AI to co-pilot their app development? Because Gen AI is very, very good at that. Questions? Well, we'll get to questions in a second. All right. 5 generalizations that I want to leave these with you. First one's first. There are a lot of remora in Gen AI. And remora are those little sucker fish that tag along with the sharks. They eat the scraps. They starve unless the shark finds something, but as soon as the shark finds something, all those pieces go flying. These remora, it's a feast. Great. So when you're talking to these startups in the AI space, if they ever say, well, we're built on the ChatGPT 3.5 engine or the 4.0 engine, oh, okay, you don't have your own engine, cool. You're just kind of a remora on top of this other one. So just keep that in mind as you're talking to Gen AI companies. But then at the same time, even if they are using the ChatGPT engine or the Stable Diffusion engine, UX matters, the interface matters. So some of these startups, they're using someone else's engine, but they've got a much better UX. By the way, the Porsche and the Volkswagen use the same engine. Does everybody know that? I didn't know that, right? That's kind of cool. The user experience does matter, right? It's the same engine mouse, that's what I meant, right? Okay, thank you, sorry. There's a one in every crowd. Is your Gen AI private? Are you okay with essentially opening everything up? Samsung got in trouble because they were using Gen AI. They essentially uploaded all their financials to use ChatGPT to kind of give them answers back. Oops, no. As soon as you use ChatGPT, all that information, everything you asked it, everything you fed it, it's now public knowledge, right? So if you want to have confidential information, you need to bring that LLM, that large language model, in-house. Is the data proprietary to you? Yes, then bring it in-house. Are the generated results your intellectual property? Yes, then bring it in-house. Bring that in-house private. Now, who can leverage Gen AI? Essentially everybody. The executive teams, the legal teams, the HR teams, but sometimes it does matter. Sometimes you're going to want to bring that LLM in-house. Sometimes it's okay to just use a SaaS provider. For the executives, it's obvious. That's high-level financial projections, things like that. You want to bring that in-house because that's confidential. The marketing teams, again, as Melissa described this morning, a lot of that imagery, a lot of those renders, everything like that, that's proprietary. You want to keep that inside. You don't want to share that with everybody. However, some things like legal reviews or HR resume readers, there's plenty of point solutions out there. That's just Grammarly kind of checking. It's okay to use a SaaS there because there's nothing really proprietary about that. And again, I just kind of go in and I'm happy to share this deck with everybody afterwards. So, again, with the marketing teams, the product text and images should be fine-tuned on your own in-house data. You don't want to use a bunch of Adidas images to generate Nike images and vice versa, right? Contract analysis. The code devs actually they benefit from the common SaaS things because, let's face it, 95% of all computer code is borrowed from other developers. Cool, right? Now, some general guidelines. Again, for in-house, is the training data confidential to us? Are the generated results does that become our IP asset? Is the open source downloadable and are the tools superior? In other words, can we bring this AI in-house and have it run on our servers? If so, yes, then go for it. But again, depending on the last question, do you have the hosting talent and resources for that? The other way, the SaaS, should we just use a SaaS for this? Is the operation common across all warehouses? Do all companies have a warehouse? Yes. Okay, then let's just use the warehouse AI something because it doesn't matter. That's not a strategic corporate advantage for our business model. Is there domain expertise for this? Is the data non-proprietary? Again, there's JavaScript, all computer code is borrowed, so it doesn't matter. Is fine-tuning required? No. Okay, then just use the SaaS. And then do you have the hosting and the resources in-house to do this? What to brag about? Companies will brag about, on the On the right here, companies will brag about their AI for customer service, their customer experience, their product search, and their product catalogs. They will not, they will never tell you they're using AI for human resources, obviously, for their data management, for their communication tools, and for their marketing campaigns. Actually, what we're seeing lately is both sides are getting secret. Nobody's talking about AI because two things. One, the assumption is it's already everywhere, so what's the point? And then two, it only invokes ethical, wait, are you tracking me? Is it Skynet? What? Right? It only invites those kinds of questions. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Dave. I just wanted, I'm not sure if you saw the panel before. Can AI get rid of permitting delays?
Can AI get rid of what?
Permitting delays?
Ooh,
No.
yeah, it depends on the city using AI to go through all that. But yes, that example I gave with the tax records, you know, these are all bureaucratic documents. So if you can get the city of San Mateo or Los Angeles to use this, this, then yes, it should go faster. But that would depend on the city of LA stepping up.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't expecting that. You know, I guess, you know, we often hear about, you know, job sort of streamlining or making jobs easier. For a lot of folks in this room that are sort of doing rollouts, store rollouts and that kind of thing, can you sort of paint a picture or sort of give us insights around how that might help streamline that process and or how teams might be sort of maybe downsized or made more efficient?
Yeah, anytime you've got a lot of data and the task is tedious, use AI. If you can get a drone to go through a new space and scan it and count all the AC outlets or all the electrical outlets for you automatically, which an AI totally can do. If you can get a drone to go through and count all the HVACs for you, totally doable. If you can do the planograms automatically, that's going to save a lot of money. We've got a client where they're essentially sending people store to store, taking a picture of the cigarette display, and then making sure the right promotions are in place, and then the store owner, you know, the convenience store owner gets spiffed $100 a month if the right displays are in place. AI can totally do that now, right? So it's that kind of, anytime you've got a lot of data and it's tedious on the build out, and that goes all the way from, again, the tracking the construction, tracking the outlay, tracking inventory throughput. You know, do we have the right flows in place? Are people going through the aisles that we thought they were? AI can answer all these questions for you.
Wonderful. Dave Jenkins, thank you so much.
Thanks.